So hello everyone, this is Ankita Rajput and 1 minute guys. Okay, so guys, now we will start our fourth lecture on solid state physics. So I hope you tried the problems I gave you in last lectures and in last lectures also. Did you guys try to solve these problems?
Yes,
And you got
yes,
the
ma'am.
answer?
One
Yeah.
problem I have no answer, but other problems are there.
Okay, so if okay, so please ask the question in WhatsApp group. Okay, you can share with me the problem.
Uh,
Okay, I
sure,
will
ma'am.
provide you the solution and give you the hint how to solve the problem. Okay, and
One more question, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, whenever we teaching this topic, it is so easy. Whenever we refer the topic, it is so easy. But when we
Mm-hmm.
start doing problems, it is become
Mm.
so difficult.
Yeah, yeah, that's why
Sorry.
it's always best to solve problems as many
Yes, ma'am.
problems we can, and that's why I suggested you guys that you should collect the problems from previous year's question papers of NAT and GATE. Okay, the topics we are like covering simultaneously, you should collect all the problems. Okay, and I'm also trying to cover
Okay, ma'am.
two problems which are tricky and not so easy, and also you can also collect the problems, okay, and ask. And after
Okay,
the
ma'am.
completion of this paper and during also we will also try to take the full lecture based on the problems only. Okay. Okay, so let me complete
Okay,
one
ma'am.
portion of
Thank you.
solid state physics and I will try to collect some more problems for you. Okay, and that would be very, very good for you
Sure,
guys.
sure, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, great. Okay, okay, so so today we will discuss these topics: structure factor for simple cubic, body-centered cubic, and face-centered cubic crystals, and vibrations in one-dimension monoatomic lattice, and in 2D diametric lattice also. And then we will solve some problems related to these topics. So now this topic, geometrical structure factor, is very, very important because it is this factor is actually decide about the atomic planes, which atomic planes will be present in individual crystal structures, means in simple cubic crystal structure, in BCC, in FCC. So this is the factor which is the deciding factor, we can say. So before we will discuss about the geometric structure factor, we need to understand two important terms. One is atomic form factor, which is also known as atomic scattering factor, and secondly total scattering amplitude. Okay, so in X-ray diffraction, of a crystal, the intensity of different peaks basically depends upon so many things, guys. Okay, and it depends on the position of your atom, the position of your lattice inside the unit cell. Okay, how many atoms are present inside that particular unit cell, and type of atoms. Okay, so this thing, the intensity of X-rays in X-ray diffraction depends on these things. Okay, so the atomic form factor, or we can say atomic scattering factor, this factor basically measures the scattering amplitude of X-ray, okay, which is diffracted from your unit cell. So we have a unit cell inside a crystal, and in unit cell there will be different number of atoms arranged, like, right? And there will be X-ray, which is we are using for X-ray diffraction. So once the X-ray diffracted from these atoms, okay, there will be another X-ray, diffracted X-rays, or we can say scattered wave will be there. Okay, and the amplitude of this scattered wave is basically atomic form factor or atomic scattering factor. Okay, and the second important term is total scattering amplitude, which is represented by capital F. It's the ratio of amplitude of radiation which is scattered by your entire unit cell to the amplitude of radiation which is scattered by a single electron. So it's basically a ratio. Okay, and it is represented by, this is sig F, H dash, K dash, L dash. These Miller indices basically are the Miller indices of your scattered wave. Okay, or we can say scattered plane. So it will be represented by the summation of this term. Okay, sigma j f j e to the power 2 pi I u j h dash plus v I k dash plus w I l dash. Okay, so this term is basically the bracket term is nothing but the position vector of your atom. Means you can see we have guys, it's basically I. Okay, it's I, not j. So I will correct before I will upload this thing. Okay, so this is basically the position vector of your atom. Okay, if suppose we are talking about the ith atom, so the position vector of your ith atom will be this bracket term. Okay, so, and this is okay, and this is basically r dot your g vector, position vector. Okay, so h, k, l, h dash, k dash, l are the Miller indices of the plane which is scattered through this atom. Okay, so we can also write this total amplitude, total scattering amplitude in terms of your structure factor. So now we will discuss about this structure factor, geometric structure factor. So we can write F in terms of this as also. So we can write F is basically nothing but the product of your atomic scattering factor and geometrical structure factor. Okay, so in this way your S will be sigma j e to the power 2 pi I u j h dash plus v j k dash plus w j l dash. One thing guys, either you can take j, okay, either you can take I or you can take I. Okay, if you are talking about ith atom, all these terms will be in I only, and otherwise in j terms only. So I will correct. Okay, so this geometrical structure factor is the deciding factor, and it's basically play a very important role in X-ray diffraction, because as we have already told you that this is the deciding factor, and it is basically telling you that which the place which will be which will pass through your crystal structures. So it will finally give you the information about the atomic positions. Okay, so now we will see this geometrical structure factor for these different types of cubic lattice. Means first we will see about the simple cubic lattice. Okay, so the formula of as F is this is your total, we can say total scattering amplitude. Okay, so this is your F, general formula for F. Okay, and in simple cubic lattice guys, in simple cubic lattice we have atoms, we have lattice or only at the corner positions, right? So we can say the coordinate of this atom, this basis will be 0 0 0, because there is no atom present besides these positions. Okay, so the coordinate of the corner atoms will be 0 0 0, because we are considering these as origin. Okay, so put the value of these xi, yi and zi as 0 0 0, because these are the coordinate. This is the, we can say, position vector in terms of x, y and z. Okay, so put the value of these x, y and z, and we will get what we will get finally, F, only F. So what does it means? If your total scattering amplitude is equal to atomic scattering factor, and that means your S will be 1. That means as your F is basically nothing, your capital F is small f into S. So from this relation, you will get that we our geometrical structure factor will be 1. What does it mean? It means that in simple cubic crystal lattice, all the diffraction lines are allowed. means all the planes are possible in simple cubic crystal structure. There is no restriction. Okay, so if you are performing an X-ray diffraction experiment for we can say material which is in nature simple cubic, so you can get all the possible peaks, all the possible atomic planes. Okay, so this is the condition. This is very important line. Okay, so similarly, we can see the geometrical structure factor and our total scattering amplitude for BCC lattice. Okay. So in BCC, guys, we have atoms at the corner of cube and also at the body position. Okay. So for corner, we are taking that the coordinates of the corner atom will be 0, 0, 0. And if we are taking the coordinate of the center atom as 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, because it's if you will take the coordinate, it will be 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Okay, so we have effective number of atoms 2 inside body center cubic. So it's essential to describe the position of both the atoms. Okay, so we will deciding these coordinates of these two atoms, right? So now we will put the values. So now as we have 2r, okay, means now as you can see here we have summation. So we will take two different terms. Okay, one for this r equals to 0, 0, 0 means x, y, z, all these terms are 0, and second term plus for corresponding to r equals to 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So now your x, y, and z will be 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So we can further solve this equation. Okay, and now you can see we will get that your f equals to small f 1 plus e to the power minus pi I h plus k plus l. So now we can decide few things. Okay, so if your this term, we can say if r h plus k plus l equals to n, and suppose this will be your integer. Okay, so two things are possible here. If your n is even, if this term is even, so what will be the term of e to the power minus n pi I if n is even, guys? It will be plus 1. Okay, and if your n is odd, it will be minus 1. Okay, so
Ma'am,
yes please.
ma'am, general doubt, ma'am.
Yes please.
From second, f is equal to small f of open brace exponential minus 2 pi I. So 0 dot h 0 dot k. When it multiply to h k I l, it becomes 0 or single term, ma'am.
You are talking about this term.
Yes, ma'am. This term.
Okay, so 0, 0, 0, it means this whole term will be 0. Okay, so e to
Okay.
the power 0 is 1.
Okay, ma'am.
E to the power 0 is 1, so that term will be 1. Okay, and plus this whole term. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So for corresponding values of n, means if your n is even, we can find out the value of f. Okay. So if this whole term will be plus 1, so your capital F will be 2f. Okay. When it's 2f, when your total n is even, and n is what? N is nothing. N is h plus k plus l. Okay. And second thing, if this is minus 1, this exponential term will be minus 1. In that case, 1 minus 1, that will be 0. So your scattering amplitude will be 0 in this case. So for n, if n is odd, your f will be 0 means. So what does it mean? It means that the planes having h plus k plus l is even. Okay, only these planes would appear in BCC crystal structure, in the X-ray diffraction of BCC crystal structure. Okay, means only these planes are allowed having value h plus k plus l equals to even. Okay, and for other condition, means if your h plus k plus l equals to odd, so you can see here. Okay, f equals to 0 means total scattering amplitude is 0, means we are getting nothing, no peak will be there, that's why f equals to 0. So you can say examples, the allowed reflections will be 1, 1, 0. You can take the sum of these terms, h plus k plus l, that will be 2. Okay, so the sum of all these terms is even, means we can get these peaks, these planes in the reflection, in the diffraction of BCC, and these planes having sum equals to odd term, odd value, are forbidden in BCC crystal structure. Okay guys. Okay, So now we will see for face-centered cubic lattice. So guys, in face-centered, how many effective number of atoms we have in FCC?
4.
Four, ma'am.
4. Okay, so 4. So we can decide the coordinates for these atoms. Okay, so we can take like for corner atom, you can say there will be coordinate same 0 0 0, and for the face positions we have few atoms, so we can also decide the coordinates for these atoms, and that will be half half 0, half 0 half, and 0 half half. So for these 4 values, we can find out the value of your f. Okay, put the values of, for this value, your exponential term will be 0. Okay, means exponential term as a whole will be 1, because it will be e to the power 0, so 1. Okay, for this value we will have, because for L this will be 0, so L into 0 it will be 0, so the term will be e to the power minus pi I h plus k, and similarly other 2 terms will be this. So we can also apply some condition, like how we can solve this. If your HKL, if these values all even or odd maybe, so in this case, if this the term, the sum is even, okay, so if it's even, we will have the value 1. Okay, so 1 for this, 1 for this, and 1 for this, so 3 plus 1 will be 4. Okay, and same if your h plus k plus l is odd. Okay, so all even or all odd, sorry, means some, we are not talking about sum, means if suppose your h is 1, k is 1, and l is also 1. Okay, so all these terms are odd. So in that case also, this term will be 1, and all these terms similarly will be 1. So for HKL having values all even or all odd, we can get f equals to 4f. Okay, and for the remaining conditions, means if we have the mixed values of HKL, means some odd values or some odd values and some even values. So for these combinations, we will not get any peak. Okay, so your capital F is 0. So now we will summarize this thing, means the planes having HKL values all either even or odd would appear, and all planes having even odd combinations of HKL will not present. Okay, so allowed reflections means allowed peaks are these. Okay, see, all odd, all even, they will appear, and the mix means 1 0 0 all even odd, odd even, okay, they will not appear, they are forbidden planes. Okay, so we can summarize summarize these rules in this table. It would be easy for you guys to remember. So for simple cubic, the allowed reflections, all the planes are allowed, means all the reflections are allowed in simple cubic crystal lattice. In BCC, if HK plus H plus K plus L is even, we will get the peaks. In FCC crystal structure, all odd or all even values of HKL should be there only, then we can get your planes or peaks. For diamond cubic also, this is the condition. If all odd H, K and L or all even HKL, and but the condition, main condition is this, the sum of these values should be divisible by 4. So in this condition, in this case, we will get the peak for diamond cubic crystal lattice. So these are the very, very important conditions. So based on these conditions, this is your problem. And a beam of X-rays is incident on a BCC crystal if the diffraction, if the difference between the incident and scattered wave vectors is this, okay, where x cap, y cap, z cap are the unit vectors of the associated cubic lattice, the necessary condition for the scattered beam to give a law maximum is, okay. So the law maximum, which when we talk about, it's nothing, it's about the X-ray diffraction we are talking about, okay. So maybe you can think like this, that this term is given to us, what is this term? So I think this question is very, very tricky, okay. Maybe you can think like this, but if you are reading some problem now, So please read whole problem. Okay. Also look at the options, because if you are looking at the option, you can immediately think that it should be like the selection rules in these different kind of cubic lattices. Okay. So we are talking about BCC crystal structure. We are also talking about the X-ray diffraction. So, and we are also talking about the necessary condition for the scattered wave. So what should be first thing? And we are also talking about uh, the necessary condition for the scattered wave to give low maximum. Means we are talking about to get highest or maximum intensity. Okay, one more formula I will give you here. If suppose your F, capital F, is the total scattering amplitude, so corresponding intensity will be I equals to F square. It's very simple. You all know now. If amplitude is F, your intensity will be square of this. Okay. So for BCC, what is the condition? Your H plus K plus L is even. Okay. And in this case, our F is 2F and I is 4F square, means maximum intensity. So this will be the condition, means your option A is correct option. So it's very, very simple problem. Okay. This is also very, very simple. You can solve it and tell me the answer, guys. Read this question and tell me the answer.
Ma'am, C.
Ma'am, C,
All even.
option C is correct. All
But
HKL value should be even.
we are talking
Option
about lattice plane. No diffraction peak is.
Yes, yes.
We will have a peak for 200 plane, na?
Option A.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
option
A.
C,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Mixed.
Yeah, mixed, na?
Mixed.
Not different.
See, this is the simplest problem, guys, related to X-ray diffraction and these selection rules. Okay. And this is, I think in GATE examination, we can see rarely such kind of problems. Okay. But mostly the problems will be like, we have to use this concept along with the other concepts. Okay. So this is the first step. So yeah, the option is correct. Your option A is correct option 212. Okay. Our second problem is, it's also from GATE examination. A metal with BCC structure show the first, that is smallest angle, diffraction peak at a Bragg angle theta equals to 30 degree. The wavelength of X-ray used is 2.1 angstrom and the volume of the primitive unit cell of the metal is. Okay. So what we have a BCC structure. We are talking about the first diffraction peak at Bragg angle. Means if we will use the Bragg condition, 2d sine theta equals to n lambda, your n is 1. Okay. And theta we have, okay, we have lambda also. And we have to find out the volume of primitive unit cell. Okay. So for BCC, what is the volume of primitive unit cell? So whatever is the volume, to calculate, to find out the volume, what you need, what should you have? What you should have? A, the edge of your cube, right? And how we can find out the value of A, guys? From D. You are getting? So if you have the value,
Yes, ma'am.
you can get the value of A also. So first we will use our Bragg's law, that is 2d sine theta equals to n lambda, n is 1 because the first peak. Okay. And we will also use the value of D, the relation between the interplanar spacing and your cube edge. So D, or we can say lattice constant. So D is A upon H square plus K square plus L square. For BCC structure, guys, the first diffraction peak appear for BCC structure, the condition is, what is the condition? H plus K plus L should be even. Okay. And only for this value, we will have the even. Okay. And before this plane, we can have planes like 100. But 100 is a plane having value H plus K plus L equals to odd. So this plane 100 will not be present in BCC crystal structure. So the very first peak, very first plane will be this only. Okay. 100 plane. So we will calculate the value of D corresponds to this plane. So D will be A upon root 2 if we put the value of HKL in this formula. Okay. So yeah. Okay, and what they did? Okay, yeah, no issue. And these just they just try to have, okay, no issue. So once you calculate the value of D, that is A upon root 2, you can put the value of D here, means 2A upon root 2 sine theta. Theta is 30 degree equals to lambda. So this is the term. Okay, so from here you can get the value of A. Okay, you know sine 30 degree, you have the value of lambda, so you can calculate the value of A, means lattice constant, right? And the volume of primitive unit cell in BCC crystal structures is AQ by 2, because guys, if I think I gave you this formula in the table now. You know about the volume of primitive unit cell in these three structure? Yes or no?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, good. For BCC crystal structure, your volume is AQ by 2. And if we are talking about FCC crystal structure, so the volume will be AQ by 4.
4.
Okay, okay, so just put the value of your A, okay, and solve. So it will be 13.1 angstrom cube. So your option B is correct option. Okay, guys, got it? This is also a very simple problem. Any doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Continue.
Okay, great. Okay, so one thing, you need to find out the problems related to these topics. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm moving to the next topic, which is lattice vibration. Okay. So we will discuss this, and this is very, very important because I think each year in each examination, means 2 times we have exam, net exam each year. So in each paper now you can get problems related to these lattice vibrations of 1D monoatomic or 1D diatomic. So this topic is very, very important and not that much difficult. So lattice vibration we will discuss. Okay, so you all know lattice. What is lattice? Lattice is basically, we can say, it's basically the collection of hypothetical points. Okay, and in this there is a regular and repeated arrangement of these points. Okay, and once we are talking about crystal, okay, in crystal, basically this crystal is based on lattice. Okay, and the hypothetical points are replaced by your basis, means it will be atom. So finally we can say that here in crystal we will have atoms, and these atoms are arranged in a regular and repeated manner. So it's a 2-dimensional lattice, 2-dimensional crystal structure. Okay, so we have these atoms. So we can say due to thermal energy, if they have thermal energy, means obviously they will have thermal energy, some temperature they will have. So due to this thermal energy, they can vibrate along the mean position. Okay, like this. Okay, so they can vibrate, and when they are vibrating, because the atomic distance is very, very small, so if this atom is vibrating along this position, along this line, so it will definitely affect its nearest atoms. Okay, so for calculation and for determining very, very important things, we assume that inside this crystal, the atoms are joined with some imaginary spring. Okay, so it behaves as these atoms are we can say connected through a spring. Okay, these are the hypothetical spring, and we are taking this assumption just to calculate the thermal properties of this we can say lattice. Okay, and what we can calculate, once we can calculate these thermal things, we can calculate the specific heat and the thermal conductivity of your crystal or your unit cell. Okay, so this is the lattice vibration, assumptions regarding the lattice vibration, because it's going to help us in so many ways. So okay, so we will discuss first about the vibrations of 1-dimensional monoatomic lattice. So monoatomic lattice means some like copper, we can say, okay, copper, cadmium, there are so many crystals, and these crystals are monoatomic. Okay, so we are talking about these monoatomic lattices in one-dimensional chain. So suppose you can see here, these are the atoms, and we have the single atoms and similar atoms. So this is the monoatomic chain, monoatomic lattices. So suppose these initially they were in their fixed position, they are in the position of we can say rest, they are not moving, and using the assumption of lattice vibration, all the atoms are connected through these springs like this. Okay, and the interatomic distance is small a. Okay, and we can take like if they are moving due to some thermal energy, if they are moving like this, like this, like this, so there we can say that there is a displacement. If we are talking about this atom, suppose this is the nth atom, so if it is displaced due to thermal motion along this side, so suppose the displacement of this atom is un. Okay, so and for another atom, this will be your 1 plus atom. Okay, so its displacement will be un plus 1, and so on both the side. Okay, so you all know the restoring force. If there is a displacement through a mean position, the force, the restoring force is F equals to minus kx. Okay guys, you all know?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so we will use the same theory. Okay, same formula. I will give you few details only. Okay, so the force and because this is moving, this atom is moving both the side, and the nearest neighbors also moving, so this atom will affect, and we can say it will what we can say, it will produce some it can imply some force on its nearest atom. Okay, so we can calculate the force, total force on the nth atom. Okay, so suppose this atom is also displaced through its mean position, and its displacement is un plus 1, and it's also, so its displacement is un. So the whole displacement we can calculate un plus 1 minus un. So the force we can say on the right side on this atom will be beta, and beta is spring constant. Normally we take k in so many books as force constant, but I will tell you later why we are taking beta here. Okay, so we will take beta as a spring constant, so it will be un plus 1 minus un, and in this way we can also calculate the force on this atom on left side. So the displacement will be un minus 1. So in this way, so this is the force on both the sides, so we can add these two forces and calculate the total force. Okay, so this is, we can calculate. Okay, we can just equate these two, we can add these two terms, so total force will be this. So F equals to this term plus this term, and F is basically ma, mass into acceleration, and your mass is this, and the this mass into acceleration. Okay, and you can, I'm not giving you the detail, I mean the expression I'm not giving, but this equation you can skip. So these are the forces, and now if we get, finally we will get a differential equation. Okay, so you all know in wave theory in 12th class also that the solution for the wave equation will be y equals to a, we can say e to the power kx I kx minus omega t. Okay, this was the very familiar equation in 12th and graduation. So y was the displacement, and here we have un as a displacement. Okay, so un will be a is your amplitude of your wave which is generating, we can say, and a e to the power I kx n naught. Okay, this x naught is basically the we can say this is the position. Okay, so here we are talking about the nth atom, and atomic spacing is a, so we can also write your x n naught as na. Okay, so this is your un. Okay, so in this way we can put the value of this un in these equations and calculate the solution. Okay, and the solution will be in terms of omega, because omega is your angular frequency, and the k here guys, we are talking about the wave equation, so k here is the wave vector, and that's the reason we took spring constant as beta, not k, because you will be confused. Okay, so beta is your spring constant and k here is your wave vector. Okay, so you can remember this formula. This is very, very, very important. Okay, so for one dimensional monoatomic lattice, the dispersion relation is this. Okay. Okay, so we can imply few conditions which will give you some results, and based on these results we can draw a graph between omega and wave, omega and k. Okay, so at low frequencies, if frequency is low, that means your k tends to 0. So if your k tends to 0, if this term tends to 0, means this angle term will be very, very small. So in this case, we can say sine theta tends to theta only, means sine ka by 2 tends to ka by 2. So put the value of this here. So in this k, in this way, your omega will be this only. Okay, and you can calculate the phase velocity and both phase and group velocity both by using this term. So what is the phase velocity? Vp is omega by k, and Vg, that is group velocity, is d omega by dk. So these are the very, very important formulas. And the second condition is this: at frequency, if your frequency is this 4 beta upon m, if omega is 4 beta upon m, you can get what you can get. Put omega equals to 4 beta upon m here. So simply your sine ka by 2 will be 1. If sine ka by 2 equals to 1, you can conclude that basically your k is pi by a. Okay. So in this case, if your k is pi by a and your omega is 4 beta upon m, under root 4 beta upon m, so omega is constant. So you can calculate the phase velocity because that is omega upon k. But in this case, your group velocity Vg means d omega by dk will be 0 because omega is constant here. Okay. So group velocity is 0 here in this case. Okay. So we can say, what we can say, we can conclude that there will be no transfer of energy corresponds to this frequency. Okay, because your group velocity is 0 now, so there will be no motion, no transfer of energy for this particular frequency, we can say. So we can have vibrations, we can have waves only if your frequency is less than 4 beta upon m. Means if your omega is less than this value, only then we can get some vibrations. Okay, so we can say your lattice, one-dimensional monoatomic lattice, behaves as a low-pass filter. You all know a low-pass filter, it can only pass waves or signals up to a fixed value of frequency. Okay, above that frequency, it cannot pass any wave, any signal. So that is, it is behaving like a low-pass filter. Okay. So this figure, this is the dispersion relation for your 1D monoatomic lattice, and it's nothing, it's basically a graph between omega and k. Okay, and you can see on k axis, on wave vector axis, we have these values 0, pi by a, 2 pi by a. Okay, so you can calculate the values of like if we are saying that, okay, if k tends to 0, here in next case. Okay. Okay, so we can calculate two things. Okay, if suppose our k is pi by a. Okay, if your k is pi by a, your value of your omega is maximum. Okay, this value, and this maximum value is 4 beta upon m. And above this value means if your k is greater than pi by a, means in this region there is nothing here. There is nothing here, means you are not getting any signals, as we have discussed. So this is the dispersion relation, and it's basically we can say its period is 2 pi by a, because it will this is the period now. Okay, it is starting from 0 and its maximum position, and after that it will also, like, so the period will be pi by a plus pi by a, 2 pi by a. One more thing, we mark 3 points C, B and A here. So these points corresponds to same frequency. You can say for A, B and C, we have the same value of omega. Okay, so they all showing basically the same instantaneous atomic displacement. Okay, So this this is very, very important. And yeah, so now we will see the same things for the one dimensional diatomic lattice. So
Ma'am,
yes.
ma'am, can you explain one more time, ma'am?
Yeah.
The point A, B, C.
Okay. ABC, we mark these points. Okay, so these 2 points A, B are in this region only, means in pi by A, 0 to pi by A region. Okay, so and these 2 points have the same frequency, means they have different value of K. Okay, different value of K. And for B, we will have some positive value because it's on the right side. For C, it's on the left side. So we will have a negative value of K. And A, for A, we will have a very different value of K. Okay, you can find out the coordinates, just draw the lines. But for these three values, we have the same value of omega. Okay, means we can say the displacement, this K is showing the displacement also. No? It's a wave vector. So we can conclude, we can calculate the displacement using this K. So it's telling us that the atomic displacement of your we can say your atom is same for these points. Okay,
Ma'am.
and one more thing, this is this region between these 2 points, means minus pi by A to plus pi by A. This region is your first brilliant zone. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
so this is very important, and you can say these are the zone boundaries. If this is the first brilliant zone, so these lines, these points pi by A and pi by A, these
And
yes.
at the point A, it's a second brilliant zone.
Sorry.
The point A, which represent the second brilliant zone, is it right, ma'am?
Not A actually. Beyond 2 pi by A, we will have our second brilliant zone. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So we will see for now for diatomic lattice. Okay, this is also the one-dimensional case, and we are only discussing for one-dimensional case here, because if we can find out some important points for this diatomic, or we can say monoatomic lattice for 1D, it will be implemented for the other dimensions, means for 2D and 3D. So we are taking only 1D case. Okay, so in this figure you can say like diatomic lattice like NaCl. Your NaCl is diatomic now. So you can say that we have two kinds of atom here. Okay, so suppose this is your Na, suppose this is your Na, and suppose this is your Cl ion. Okay, so these are two different atoms here having different mass. So this is your atom having mass M, capital M, and this is small m, and it's clear that capital M is greater than small m. Okay, so same thing, we can like this is the nth atom, this is n plus 1, and this is n plus 2, and similar way. So in similar way for individual atoms, for M atom, capital M atom, and for small m atom, we can find out the equation of motions, means they will also displace through their mean positions, like this. So we can also calculate the equation of motion for these, for capital M and for small m, in the same way as we have discussed in last case. Okay, so finally we can solve the equations, and we can find out the value of your omega square. So one thing. Okay. So we get two values of the solution for this diatomic lattice. Now we get this term. Final, we get this term. Okay, so this is the omega square. This beta is your spring constant, and this k, this k is your wave vector. So we will get this term. So from here we can get two terms. For plus value, we will get omega plus square equals to this value, and for negative value, for negative sign, we will get this term. Okay, so these are the dispersion relation, and based on these relations, we can draw their diagram, dispersion relation between your omega and your wave vector k. So we can also imply few conditions here, as we did in last case. If your k tends to 0, if your k tends to 0, we can calculate the value of your omega plus. If your k tends to 0, this value will be very, very small. Okay, so this value will be very, very small. So we will get this term. Okay, and this can come outside this square bracket because it's square. Okay, so we will have two terms, beta 1 upon m plus 1 upon m plus same beta 1 upon m plus 1 upon m. So finally we can get omega plus equals omega plus square equals to 2 beta 1 upon m plus 1 upon m. And when you will so finally omega plus equals to under root 2 beta 1 upon m plus 1 upon m. So what does it mean? If k tends to 0, your k, if k tends to 0 means somewhere here. So your omega plus will be this, means this term. The value of this term is this. Okay. And second case, if we can say our k tends to pi by 2a, means your k tends to this value pi by 2a. You can put the value of k here, k equals to pi by 2a, and you can solve this equation. So your omega plus will be 2 beta upon small m. Means for this value, for pi by 2a, we will have our value 2 beta upon m. Okay, so that means the upper band, the upper graph, upper branch is corresponding to your omega plus. And what is this? We will tell you later. And we can further calculate the value of omega minus for these values. If your k tends to 0, we will have omega minus this. Okay, means if your k tends to 0, we can say one more important thing here. Okay, one more important thing here. If k tends to 0, your omega minus will be somewhere here, 2 beta m plus m. And if your k tends to pi by 2a, k tends to pi by 2a, so we will have omega plus. One second guys, this is omega minus. Okay, before uploading now I will correct this. This is omega minus. So your omega minus is this 2 beta upon capital M. Okay, so we get different kind of values of these omega plus and omega minus. So the upper values are corresponding to omega plus and the lower values are corresponding to omega minus. So what does this mean? One more thing. These are the branches. Okay, so this is the optical branch and the lower one is known as acoustic branch, means related to sound. And if you can see in between there is nothing. Okay, some energy gap. And this, in this reason, we cannot, in this reason, and for this reason, for corresponding values of omega, for corresponding values of frequency, we cannot get any vibrations in 1D diatomic lattice. So this reason is known as forbidden energy. Okay, and one more thing, in this figure you can see in detail. So okay, we this upper branch is known as optical branch, means it's basically related to your optical properties. Okay, and the lower one means this one. Okay, this one is basically known as acoustical branch. Okay, means related to sound. So what does it mean? Means for the values of omega which lie in this region in the acoustical branch, means acoustical means nothing, means sound. Means if we like, if you have a material, if you have diatomic material, NaCl, if you have, and if you are if you are using sound waves on this NaCl, on this diatomic crystal, so we will get the frequency which will lie in this region only. Okay, corresponds to these values. And for optical branch means we are using optical light, normal optical light. So your molecule will, it will only we can say reflect, and there will be the vibrations, the waves only corresponds to these values of omega if we are using optical light. Okay, so this is the optical branch. So okay, and one more thing, that this dispersion relation is also periodic in K, and the period is, what is the period? You can see after this value it's also repeating its trend. So minus pi by 2 plus pi by a, that means 2 pi by a. Okay, so and A is the length of unit cell. You can have some questions, just listen carefully. It happens many times that like you always think that it should be always pi by A to pi by A, but it's nothing. It's not that case. If we can say if the cube edge is not A, suppose it's 2A is given in some question, so automatically it will be pi by 2A. You're getting my point? So you can remember this formula by 2 pi by A, but more precisely 2 pi by unit cell length. Okay. So these are the few important things in 1D diatomic lattice. So few more important things. As we have discussed that there exists a band of frequencies between these two branches. The upper one is optical branch, and this lower one is acoustical branch. Okay, so this region, this forbidden region is okay, so we cannot get any frequency which will lie in this region, in forbidden region. Okay, so few important things, guys. The width of this forbidden region, it depends on the ratio of m upon m. Okay, if this ratio is larger, means we will have the forbidden band whose width will be great. Okay, and also the same thing, we can say the first brilliant zone. The brilliant zone is for k value, and it will be from minus pi by 2a to pi by 2a. Okay, in optical branch, and as we have discussed with you that these are the branch. So for optical branch, the ratio of their amplitude, means the ratio of the amplitude of these atoms. Okay, it will be like this, means a upon b equals to minus m upon m. Means we can say ki in this way, if these are the atoms having mass capital M, and these atoms, these green atoms having mass small m, so these atoms will vibrate in opposite direction, like you can see, and their amplitude are inversely proportional to their masses. Okay, so this is the condition in optical branch. Okay, in acoustical branch, both the atoms vibrate in same direction. You can see in same direction, these are vibrating, these are moving, and the ratio of their amplitude are inversely proportional to their masses. Okay, so these are the few important things, and based on these things we will solve few problems. Okay guys, so I'm telling you again and again that these formulas which I have discussed with you in 1D and 1D diatomic and 1D monoatomic, these are the very important formulas, and you will have so many problems in 10-year papers of these exams, GATE and NET. So we will cover few today. So this is the problem from NET exam. A uniform linear monoatomic chain is modeled by a spring mass system of masses m, separated by nearest neighbor distance a and spring constant m omega naught square. The dispersion relation for the system is, you have to find out the dispersion relation, means the relation, the formula between omega and k. Okay, so you know the for monoatomic chain, you know the formula. This is the formula, omega equals to 4 beta upon m sine k by 2, guys. But in this formula, your beta is your spring constant, right? We took this beta as spring constant, but it's quite obvious that in problem and in some other books, they can take some other term as spring constant. So they are in problem, they are telling us that your spring constant is m omega naught square. So just put m omega naught square is in place of this beta. Okay, just solve. Okay, so it will be 2 omega naught sine k by 2. So this is very simple problem. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Great.
Ma'am, whenever you're talking about frequency, it is natural frequency of crystal or any other frequencies?
It's angular frequency of atom or any particle, and if this is moving and this is vibrating now, so it will be that frequency. And natural is not a proper word, na?
It means every, yes.
Yes. If we are implying some force or
It
something.
means every crystal have a.
Yes, yes, yes. Huh, yes.
Okay, means every crystal have a proper frequency. We have a own frequency, right?
Own frequency means there are so many assumptions. If we are starting with lattice vibrations, so we will take different kind of assumptions, okay? And later we in the other we can say property, Langevin theory, and so many theories, we will assume some different assumptions. But for now, you can understand that we are talking about thermal energy, okay? So due to these thermal forces, thermal energy, the atoms will vibrate by these frequencies only. So we are talking about right now about these frequencies, okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
it's like vibrational frequency, right? Is
Yeah,
that
it's
right?
angular
Omega.
frequency, na? Angular frequency. So it's a
But
frequency
in
related
this
to,
case, we can call it as vibrational frequency or
yeah,
not?
yes, you can.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now your second problem. One second, guys. Okay, so the phonon dispersion for the following 1D diatomic lattice with masses M1 and M2 as shown here. Okay, so this is the chain for diatomic lattice. Okay, and in this diatomic lattice, you have two masses M1 and M2. And the dispersion relation is given as this: omega square equals to K 1 upon M1 plus 1 upon M2, 1 plus minus this term. And this A is lattice parameter and K is the spring constant, and the velocity of sound is, you have to find out the velocity of sound. So look, this problem is looking very huge now, okay, but it's not lengthy. So we have the dispersion relation for diatomic lattice, okay, but in our problem, in our case, we took beta as a spring constant, right? And we took wave vector as k, okay, and what they have sine square qa by 2 in place of ka. So they are taking this q as wave vector, okay? You are getting my point. So now we will calculate the velocity of sound. And what is the velocity of sound, guys? It's phase velocity. So you can conclude like this: at low frequencies, you have to apply this condition because this is very.
It's omega by k, I think. Phase velocity is equal to omega by k. Yes.
Right. So we have to eliminate this term and we have to apply some conditions so that we can eliminate the term of sine, because we don't have any term of sine in this in these answers. So we have to apply the low frequency condition here. So if frequency is small, okay, so that means your q tends to 0, your k tends to 0, okay. This is actually k in our case, okay. Remember this formula. Please tell me if you are confused. So this is basically this formula, okay. So beta is our spring constant and k is our wave vector. So okay, so this is the case. So when we will apply q tends to 0, this term tends to qa by 2. So just put this value. I think I didn't. One second, guys. This is the second. Okay, yeah. Okay, so put the value of qa by 2. It will be qa by 2. So just put this value here, qa by 2, and okay, it will be square q square a square by 4, okay. And we can use, I think, binomial expression here. So this term will be, suppose this is x, guys, suppose this is x, so it will be 1 minus x to the power 1 by 2, okay. This will be 1 minus this whole term to the power 1 by 2. And if you will use the binomial theorem, if you have 1 minus x to the power n, it will be 1 minus nx, okay. If the term, if
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
x is very small, so it will be 1 minus nx, and n was your 1 by 2. So the term will be 1 minus 1 by 2 multiply this whole term, means this term. Okay, so solve this equation. Okay, so now we will take your omega square. We are talking about the sound wave. So sound is nothing but acoustical, and for acoustical branch we will take which sign? We will take this sign. So your minus will we will have your minus sign, omega minus we are talking about. Okay, so the sign will be minus here. So you can further solve this equation. It's very simple, and finally you will get k square upon 2 m1 plus m2. Okay, so this is your omega square. So your omega will be, basically it's omega minus. So it's your omega will be this under root k upon 2 m1 plus m2 aq. This aq is outside this root. Okay, so sound wave, for sound wave the velocity will be omega by k. It should be omega by k na, but k is your q. So it will be omega by q only. Okay, so this will be your answer, k upon 2 m1 plus m2 a. That means,
Ma'am, the derivation part is okay, ma'am.
yeah.
Can you explain one more time in diagram, ma'am? In diagram.
Which in diagram?
In equation, ma'am. In equation.
In this?
In problem, ma'am.
Okay. In problem we don't have a diagram, no? Okay.
Sorry.
This diagram?
No, ma'am. Sorry, it's equation, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Here somewhere.
Derivation, okay, ma'am.
So what you are asking, I didn't get you. This thing?
That equation, ma'am. Can you explain one more time, ma'am? The equation, what tells, what it tells, ma'am? The equation.
This equation, kya?
And he is talking about binomial expansion. He didn't get about binomial expansion.
Yes, right. You are confused about binomial expansion.
That's fine, ma'am. In equation, ma'am. Previous slide, ma'am. Omega squared q. Can you explain one more time?
Okay, you are talking about this term, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, see, they have given that this is the dispersion relation for your one dimension diatomic lattice. Okay, so it's omega square equals to this term. So whenever you have such kind of relation, means the dispersion relation you have in your question, your first thing was just write the formula, you know, which we have discussed for your diatomic lattice. So write your formula. Okay, so your formula, in your formula we have beta here. Okay, beta 1 upon m plus 1 upon m we have this term.
Yes,
this term. So just write down your term. Okay, we have taken small m and capital M at as two different masses, and they took m1 and m2 as two different masses. There this k is the spring constant, but in our case this is beta as a spring constant. And once you will compare this term, okay, forget about this term. You can see, it's weird term, it's something else, but no, they just elaborate this term, but you have to find out the angle value of sine. So it's qa by 2, but in our case we have k in place of q. That means their q, this q is their wave vector, but in our case k was the wave vector. But you have to perform the same thing. You have to find out the velocity of sound, means you have to find out the value of omega minus, because they are talking about the velocity of sound wave, means the acoustical branch. Okay, so
okay,
acoustical branch we have to find out the value of omega minus. Okay, guys?
Okay, ma'am.
Clear? So this way you can calculate omega, you can calculate velocity of sound, means your option 2 is correct option.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so this is from June 2012 examination. The dispersion. Okay, guys, you can do one more thing you can do on our website now. We have some short notes on solid state physics. So in quick notes section now, you can download the solid state PDF, and there we will have all the formulas combined and related problems too. Okay, so you can use that PDF for your last time preparation. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
If you can't find out now, please let me know. I will give you the exactly. The dispersion relation of phonons is a solid is given by. So this is the dispersion relation. Okay. The velocity of the phonon at large wavelength is. So we have the dispersion relation and we have to find out the velocity of phonons for large wavelength. So they are talking about some large wavelength. Okay. So if wavelength is large, if lambda is large, you can find out the relation between k and lambda. K equals to wave vector k is 2 pi by lambda, you know. So if lambda is large, your k values will be small, and we have three values, means it's the three-dimensional case. So we will have kxa, kya, and kza, these terms. So these k's will be very, very small. If k's are small, so the term kxa, kya, kza will be small, right? So if you have cos theta, and I am telling you that theta is very, very small. So cos theta, what would be the formula of cos theta? The expression of cos theta is 1 minus theta square upon factorial 2 plus theta to the power 4 upon factorial 4. You know, na?
Yes, ma'am. No, no.
Okay. So we will, if these terms kx is very, very small, so we can eliminate, we can leave all these higher order terms. Okay. So we can only take these two terms. Okay. First and second term for the expression of cos theta. Okay. Cos kxa. So for cos kxa, okay. So we will just write this equation, this dispersion relation, and we will just change these three values of cos. So for cos kxa, we will took only two terms, initial two terms, 1 minus kx square upon a square upon 2. Similarly, we did for cos kya and similar things for cos kza. Okay, so solve this. It will be, and you can take a square out. So it will be kx square plus ky square plus kz square. So what it should be? It should be k square. Okay. If your k vector is kxi plus kyj plus kzk, so simply the square of k square will be this. Okay. So its whole term will be k square. So it means ki now our omega is in terms of k, because if you find out, if you want to calculate the velocity of your phonon, means you should have the value of omega, and you should have the value of omega in terms of k, so that you can calculate. Okay, so your omega will be omega naught a upon root 2 k. Okay, and how you can calculate the phonon velocity? It's the group velocity. Okay, so it will be d omega by dk, and it will be omega naught a upon root 2. Means your option, this option, D option is correct option. Okay, guys, it's 5 questions. Okay, in 2012, it's 5-mark question, and see, it's not that much tricky. Our next problem, the dispersion relation for a 1D monoatomic crystal with lattice, I think. Okay. Okay, I think it's covered something. Something is written here. But we have a relation. We have a dispersion relation for 1D monoatomic crystal, and your dispersion relation is this: omega equals to a sine k by 2. It's I think GATE examination, GATE 2012 problem. Okay, so and a is a constant. So we have to find out the group velocity at the boundary of first Brillouin zone. Okay, we have to find out the group velocity at the boundary of first Brillouin zone. So first, you need to remember this dispersion relation. Okay, for 1D. So you can see these are the zone boundaries. Okay, pi by a and minus pi by a. These are the zone boundaries. So what would be the group velocity at these positions? Tell me. It's written.
Maximum.
0, ma'am.
It is
Your omega value is maximum here.
better.
But we discussed this here at these points. Our omega was 4 beta upon m. Okay, so from there also you can conclude its maximum value, and to fulfilling the condition of maximum and minimum, the differential is 0, and differential is nothing but your group velocity. So group velocity will be 0 at these extremum points, means at the zone boundaries. So option A is correct option. Next is the force constant between the nearest neighbor of the lattice is. Okay, your force constant is, guys, your basically your spring constant here. Okay, your beta in our problem is force constant. It's also known as force constant. So we have omega equals to a sine ka by 2. Okay, and the normal formula is omega equals to 4 beta upon m sine ka by 2. Okay, so from here you can conclude that this a should be the amplitude, means a equals to 4 beta upon m. So a is 4 beta upon m. Just square on both sides, you can find out the value of beta, means force constant, and it's ma square upon 4, means this. Okay, so first option is correct option. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
You all are listening now?
Yes, ma'am.
Try to cover
ma'am.
many problems. Okay, so yeah, so the next problem is the dispersion relation for phonons in a 1D monoatomic wave-based lattice with lattice spacing A and consisting of ions of masses m is given by. Okay, so it's gate question. Your omega is given. Okay, this is your omega. This is the dispersion relation. Omega is the frequency of oscillation, k is wave vector, and c is the spring constant. For long wavelength, means lambda is greater than a, the ratio of phase velocities to group velocity. Okay, so we don't have any option because it's numeric type question in gate examination. So we have dispersion relation omega, and they mentioned that this c is a spring constant. This c is the spring constant. And for long wavelength, they also given this condition, lambda is very, very greater than a. So if lambda is very, very greater than a, your k, again, your wave vector will be very, very small. Okay, and we just did in, I think, last to last problems, we did this. Cos theta will be 1 minus theta square upon 2 only. So we will take 2 terms only for the small value of k. So it will be 1 minus ka the whole square upon 2. Put this value of cos ka in this expression. Solve this. It will be a under root c upon m small k. So your phase velocity is omega upon k. Just calculate. Your group velocity will be d omega upon dk. Just calculate and just find out the ratio. So, and it's the answer is 1. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good. Okay, guys. So, कोई confusion हो, कुछ issue हो तो you can ask, please.
Ma'am, this topic is so lengthy. What to do?
Lengthy? Are
Yes, ma'am.
no, it's not. You
So
can,
confusing about this.
confusing. No, it's not
But
confusing.
it was interesting, ma'am.
Yes, and one more thing, it's most scoring. Okay, so guys, look, the issue is one issue I can tell you that our course is I think small length course, now 2-month course only, so we cannot cover in very detail about the theory. Okay, if we will have like 4 months, so we can cover all the things, all the theory, so that you can easily understand all these things. But in this course, and the most important thing is that just who said, Justin or Hasmukh, that if you understand about the topics, it seems very easy. But if you try to solve the problems, it's look very, very complicated. So our main focus is to solve the maximum problems in examination. Okay. So one more important thing is that you all cleared your MSc, your masters now. So you should know about the basics of these topics. Okay, and it's obvious that sometimes you can forget these things, but you can cover these basic things using your books. Okay, which we recommended. But we will give you the more concepts, the more strategies, so that you can solve all the problems. Okay, and we always try to cover all all the different kind of problems in these examination. Okay, I try to today collect many problems, and just look today or whenever you have time tomorrow, GATE and NET examination, and choose these problems which will be based on these topics which we cover today. So you can, I think, if you clearly understand all the concepts we discussed today, you can solve all the problems related to this topic. Okay, and you should watch this video and PDF 2-3 times. So it's easy. You can easily understand. Maybe first time you are thinking like that, it's lengthy and complicated, confusing, but it's not. It's easy. Okay.
Ma'am, topic is no issue about topic. Topic is easy, okay. But when we solve the problem, then that is
Yeah,
so difficult.
actually na, in our course system na, in our academics, it's the main important that we only study, we only read theory, and these things we have to learn matlab in coaching or somewhere else extra. If this is the scenario, after passing our MSc, we can clearly hit these examination na? We need not any coaching or something. So this is the main problem. Okay, so but I will recommend you the books. Okay, you can start with Puri and Babar. It's very good, and once you understand this book, you can also follow Kittel. Okay, so everything is there. You can sort out all your confusion, but please read. Okay, so
Okay, ma'am.
you all have time. I think some of you are doing are working. Aarti is working, I guess, or
Yes, ma'am.
yes, and Shravya, what you are doing? PhD.
I'm like preparing for net, ma'am.
Net. So you have
Yeah.
time, and Justin Hasmukh and Pearl is also there
Working, ma'am.
working. But okay, yeah, no issue. But you all know now that if we can clear these examination, it's advantage. It's a golden opportunity for us. Okay, so don't waste. If you have any query, any doubt, just do that. And you are in the age when you obviously you don't value your time, I can say. Okay, like, but please try to organize your time. Means, okay, try to find out some times to read books. Okay, so it's always good. Okay, so yeah, so tomorrow you will no, tomorrow there is no class. And one thing, I will share you the whole schedule for the next week. Okay, on Tuesday you will have class, and on Tuesday now we will have a quiz on this solid state physics. Okay, these topics we have covered, the 4 lectures we have covered now. So based on these 4 lectures, we will have a quiz of 20 minutes. Okay, so just read. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I will share with you the link, and I will also, again, you have to okay, we will organize a Zoom meeting. It's only, and
Ma'am, is there any time limit in the quiz?
Hana, yes, you have.
Okay, ma'am.
It will be like GATE examination and NET examination. You will have a timeline, and you can see all these things. So it will be like this. Okay, you can read, okay, and you can submit, but once your time's up, it's automatically gone. Okay, yeah, so I will share you with the link day after tomorrow, and tomorrow you will have class. No, tomorrow you okay, there is no class. Okay, I will share all the schedule. Yeah,
Okay.
read
Okay, ma'am.
and ask questions. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.